Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnyTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnyTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Yes, it is party time, a very special Sunday afternoon show here in beautiful, beautiful downtown Burbank. It's a beautiful 85 degrees outside right now, which does not suck. So hello Hollywood, hello world, and hello my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and welcome to another fucking podcast. A great show lined up for you today in studio. The icon, Stu Hamm, going to be talking a lot of bass, going to be talking a lot of other stuff. We're just going to roll because that is, you know, how I roll. Make sure you do check out all of the sponsors. Make sure you check out Beater Amplification. Balls out rock and roll gear. I mean, this fucking head, let me tell you, it's quiet, but it's balls out rock and roll. I don't know how else to explain it. Go check them out, Beater Amplification on Facebook, 2 E's, Beeter Boutique. They're out of Minneapolis, and they are freaking amazing. Hoping that when I go back in May, that my TCB1, my custom head will be ready. I cannot wait. Also, make sure you do check out all of the social media. The Twitter machine is at Real Izzy Presley. Also on Instagram, on my quest for 1 million followers. So go follow me. I'll follow you back because that's how I roll. And the Facebook page, the show page is Another Effin' Podcast on Facebook. And everything I'm doing entertainment-wise, Izzy Presley 1. So go like those pages. And if you're listening live on Spreaker right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The follow button. And if you're downloading the show afterwards on Spreaker or on iTunes, hit that follow or subscribe button. Leave comments, leave feedback, and give me 5 stars and all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, what can I do? Oh, God, what do we have coming up? We have Act, a tribute to Ace Frehley this Thursday night in Hollywood, featuring myself, Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat, Johnny Martin from LA Guns, and Patrick Kennison from Lita Ford, with Star Sign and Still Rebel as the opening bands. No cover, Hollywood and Highland at Lucky Strike. Come on down to the show. It is going to be a good time. And the night before, Soundcheck Live returns. I am the mega host of that. So basically, I'm the pretty face on stage, making fun of everybody that comes up on stage out of love, because I do love. But come on out, check that out. If you're in Hollywood and you're in the LA area, come on down. And in May 18th, I will be with my boys back home doing Act tribute to Ace Frehley. Minnesota, Pete Campbell from the band Pentagram. Greg Edom, or is it Edom? I think it's Edom. Edom. I probably should know that since he's playing bass for me from the Minneapolis Icons Obsession. And Sean Shaver from Slow Children playing guitar. Then the night after will be in Maplewood, Minnesota at the Doghouse. And that lineup would be the same, except we have Jason Young from Kissin' Time. It's a Kiss tribute, sitting in on guitar on that one, playing with Black Rainbow, a tribute to Ronnie James Dio, and Devil's Rejects. It is a tribute to Rob Zombie. So that should be very, very cool. If you want to buy merch, just hit that shop button on the show page. It'll take you there. And you can also buy Ace Frehley tribute band t-shirts, Act tribute to Ace Frehley stuff, and all that stuff. And if you do want to donate to the show, you absolutely can. I do accept donations, and because I don't have those fat Westwood One checks. I don't get those fat Podcast One checks. This is all about me, and this is all about you. So I rely on you guys to share the show, to like the show, to comment on the show, tell your friends. And if you can donate, you absolutely can. I know everybody wants everybody's money. And hey, I want your money too. So feel free to donate. Is paypal.me/Izzy Presley. And anybody that donates, I will send you my voice navigating your ways. Yeah, if you have the Waze app, you can get me navigating you. It's quite humorous. It's very good. So if you donate to the show, I'll be happy to send that out to you. Now, sitting in studio, a man that I've been bugging about this for a couple years, and it's finally happened. I should probably unmute you so, when you start talking, people can hear you.
Dude, can you say effing on the radio or the podcast or the?
You can say fucking.
Really?
Yeah, this is internet,
Lord.
Baby. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
My gracious.
I mean, I think it would be smart if I kept it cleaner.
Well,
but fuck it.
I just want to hear you say the name of your home state again.
Minneapolis.
Oh, fucker. You fucker.
Minnesota.
Okay.
I didn't enunciate it this time.
Yeah, okay.
If
that's your radio pronunciation.
That's the radio. Okay. Minnesota. It's that's how they teach you in radio school, even though I didn't go to radio school. Wow. I learned on the job in radio. But Minnesota, you enunciate the N's instead of the O's, and the hard O's don't come out. Because it's not an attractive accent.
I wanted to hear how you got your own voice on Waze. How does that work?
It's easy.
The bass is one thing, but that's like miraculous.
It's you can do it right on the app. You record your own directions.
You mean it'll guide you anywhere with you telling them to take a fucking left at Maple and then a right on Burbank?
Absolutely.
You just record your voice and then it mimics it?
Yeah, it takes you all the way through. Turn left here, blah, 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 blah. And then you can say it however the fuck you want to say it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they have a library of other people you can choose from. You have to pick who you want to have as their navigator in life.
If somebody wanted my voice,
right,
I would have to share it with them. So it's not like actually in a library. Like you can go through and pick the different voices, but like my voice isn't going to be in there.
Oh,
but
if you send you $275,
there you go.
You get the link.
There you go.
Wow.
Be happy to send it for $275.
You'll tell them how to get the fucking Gus's
famous fried chicken.
Holy cow!
Wasn't that good?
It was good.
I don't fuck around when it comes to food.
But no, honey on chicken, that's new.
What is that?
Is that a Minnesota thing?
No, it's actually not. When I first had Gus's, I was moving from Minneapolis to Tampa, and I ended up in Fort Lauderdale. Long story. Wow. But I knew that I was going to be able to stop in Memphis and get Gus's world famous fried chicken.
Right.
Because it used to predominantly just be there, and then they had a couple here and there, but that was just like in Memphis, outside of Memphis, and I think in Nashville. And, I saw it on the Food Network. Adam Richman was there on Man vs. Food, and I tweeted at him, I was like, dude, I'm going to Gus's, and he replied, he goes, bring a honey bear. And when the Iron Gut says bring a honey bear, you bring a honey bear. And it was in love ever since.
Who was that said? So they asked some player what it was like having Bill Parcells as a coach, and they said, well, if he tells you there's cheese on the mountaintop, you better bring a cracker.
I've never heard that quote, but I love it.
I know, it's good.
I love it. So you were born in Louisiana.
I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. My name is Stu Hamm. Did we introduce me?
Yes,
properly?
we did.
We did?
Yeah, the icon,
Was I
Stu Hamm.
That's better than legend, because legend means like I'm old.
See, I never say legend. I always say the icon.
Yeah, I like that. You're hired. You're hired.
Yeah, so you're born in New Orleans, but you grew up in outside of Chicago, correct?
I grew up in Champaign, Illinois, which is a land of opportunity if you're a tractor. Of course, as we know. Who was I talking to? I was sitting at the Wurst House yesterday and started chatting to the guy drinking beer and eating schnitzel next to me. That's just what you do there.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up in Iowa, and we talked about. I guess they have machines now, but did you used to have summer jobs detasseling corn? Up at 5 a.m. and sitting on
I was. That was a little bit before my time.
Monsanto bought the entire Midwest. They have a machine that does that now.
Well, my grandparents had a farm, and so I know I spent a lot of time on that farm as a kid, but they stopped like farming by the time I grew up old enough to actually do that kind of stuff. Oh. But I've detasseled corn before.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, because they still grew food.
Well, there you go. That's what they do on farms.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Champaign, Illinois, absolutely. Lived for 1968, 67, 68. Lived in Italy for a year.
Oh,
which
wow.
was wonderful. Yeah, it was great. It was super duper good. Traveling is certainly, I think, the best education you can give for a youngin' or anyone in this world is travel. So, and then I moved to Norwich, Vermont when I was, 16. So we go back. I moved to a small town in Vermont.
Small town in Vermont.
No, you're supposed to say how small was it?
How small was it?
I moved to a small town in Vermont.
How small was it?
It was so small that I had to go across the Connecticut River to the state of New Hampshire to go to high school.
Oh, wow.
So I lived in one state, but went to Hanover High School. While my father was teaching at Dartmouth College.
Oh, okay. And your father was a composer.
My father was a very famous musicologist and music historian. He actually was president of the American Musicology Association. But what he's, I guess, best known for is he wrote a couple of books, Yesterdays and Music in the New World, that are histories of popular music in America.
Okay.
Studied the International Society for the Study of Popular Music, and was really the first person to teach an academic course in popular music back in the 60s. He totally was sort of a hippie professor, and back in the streaking days, and REO Speedwagon and Headies playing live shows on the quad. So he was way into that. And so anytime you read a scholarly paper on Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre, then it's so amazing, because my daughter is going to college in Santa Barbara, and she sent me a bit of her paper, and her paper was on changing drug references in hip-hop and rap music. And I'm like, number one, write what you know.
Right.
And number two, my dad would have been so proud, because it was just like one of his scholarly papers.
That's hilarious. Now, your dad being such a music guy, I mean, what did he bring you up on?
Well, no, that was the amazing thing, was that obviously my mom was an opera singer as well. So I was in every time I was in the boys' choir and choir. But we would go and see classical concerts, and we would go and see pop concerts. And I got taken to see Mahavishnu Orchestra and Jethro Tull and Rolling Stones and Return to Forever and John Cage and microtonal piano music, and it was all treated with the same. Not an academic snobbery looking down on popular music.
Right.
So I saw Rolling Stones, Sly and the Family Stone at the Assembly Hall there at the U of I, and then they were 4 hours late. Everyone said they were at Paul's funeral, and great.
Hilarious.
Great.
Did you? We were talking earlier about the Elvis documentary. Did you ever get to see The King?
Never saw The King. Spent a year playing with an Elvis Presley impersonator.
Right.
L. John. Get it? His name was John LaFrancis. So L. John. Elvis, anyway. Anyway, that was unbelievable. It was 1978, I guess.
Holy shit! So it was like right after he died.
No, it was. I think before, it must have been 78, 79, because I was playing with him when he died.
Well, he died August 16th, 1977. So.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Trust me.
Well,
I stole his last name.
I sucker. But for slight diversion, anyone that hasn't seen it, as you and I were talking about the new HBO 2-part thing on Elvis is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's called The Searcher.
He's the king, and what an amazing fucking singer. Just
It's unbelievable.
you know,
Unfucking believable. And my favorite Elvis was the 68 comeback.
yeah.
The black leather sit down show. I mean, I've got the DVD down there where you watch they filmed that thing twice.
Yeah.
So I've got both in the entire shows.
Oh wow.
It's unbelievable.
But I mean, it's sort of like, I know they say Jerry Lee Lewis, but when he does that little intro and then breaks into Blue Moon of Kentucky, double tempo, that's
Right.
the start of rock and roll.
It really
man.
is.
It really is.
We've already got listener feedback.
Really?
Yeah, Cliff is checking in. I think he's still in St. Cloud. You better come to the Stony show on the 18th. Fucking love Stu.
Hey, what up,
Love
dude?
the Stu. And Scotty, one of my loyal listeners from Canada. Sorry I'm late. Got caught up with hockey. Well, it's hockey. Stu rocks. Saw him play with Satriani. Was in Edmonton in 2008. Brilliant bass solo.
Oh, thank you so much. I just that's so funny because I just got off. Before my week in France and before my week in Reunion Island off the coast of Madagascar and the ensuing flights, I did in February and March a solo tour that started February 28th at Vieux Carré in St. Paul.
Yes.
And ended up in Toronto at the Garrison. So there you go. There's the connection right there.
There you go.
The beginning
And
and the end.
I saw a picture of my buddy Craig with you from that St. Paul show. I'm like, did you name drop me? It's like, I didn't know.
Oh, that's
Like,
great.
dude, always name drop me. You'll sound like a complete douche.
That was super fun. But what's kind of creepy is I checked into the hotel at in Minneapolis as I started the tour, and when you check in, they go, "Yeah, can we have your cell number?" And they filled out, and then I kept getting texts from the front desk, "Hey, how do you like your room?" I was
Oh,
like,
that's annoying.
No, I didn't like it at all. It was creepy, and I
Oh.
actually mentioned maybe it was just that over friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota thing.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
no, it was wonderful.
We take care of you up there.
No, people were great. In fact, part of I did crowdfunding for
Yeah.
the record, and one of the things I did, one of the ways I got to try to cheat people out of their money was that for $300 I brought it down. You could be my roadie for the day. I called it production manager.
Yeah.
which was great because I did everything myself. So this wonderful woman, Mary Ellen Gates, Gets. Hi, I wish I could pronounce your last name. Signed up for it. Right on my first gig, and she was so helpful. I shipped all my merch to her house. Right, she met me there, and she showed up, and of course she had snacks, and she brought with her a jar of windshield wiping fluid. Just she was that thoughtful, and Minnesota, and it was like unbelievable.
Did you have a chance to get to Matt's bar and get a Juicy Lucy?
I did not.
Oh, are you familiar with the Juicy Lucy?
I'm not.
You like hamburgers?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It's cheese is on the inside.
Wow.
So they take 2 patties, put a slice of American cheese, and they seal it, and they fry it up on this griddle they've been cooking on for 50 plus years. So all that flavors. Oh yeah, dude.
Now, that's in St. Paul or Minneapolis.
There's Juicy Lucy's all over the Twin Cities.
Wow.
But Matt's is the place.
No, that tour again, 28 shows in 30 days, me doing everything. It was pretty much wake up, drive, set up, play, sell merch, tear down, fight with the club owner because not enough people showed up, drive to the hotel, check in, sleep, get up, pack, check out, repeat.
It was just you, no band.
It was just me. Not so
Wow.
bad. Yeah. Well, I do this, I mean, I have a new record out called The Diary of Patrick Xavier, available at stuartham.net and iTunes and Apple, all that kind of good stuff. CD Baby too. You can go to if you want autograph copies, you can just get right to me, stuarthambase@gmail.com, stuartham.net, all that kind of stuff. But it's sort of about a year-long journey I took in travels, but I do this unique thing where it's just really hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
No one, it's people say, well, how can it be interesting, just you and the bass? But I play polyphonically, and I tell stories about how I met Joe, and then I play Always With You. I tell stories about how I met Satriani. I mean Vi at Berkeley, and I play the Attitude Song on the bass. And all the while I'm talking and telling these amusingly entertaining and engaging and intelligent stories,
right.
I'm playing in the background the whole time. So it's everyone that shows up seems to like it. It's just trying to convince people that it's not going to be boring or
right. Because you hear it's just, okay, it's just gonna go watch this guy play bass, and that's it.
I know.
But yeah, you got to have the storytellers, and it's funny because it's like the exact opposite of my actual bass player joke. Is why he plays the bass? You couldn't figure out how to run the lights.
No,
and you're not that.
Well, there's so many of the bass player joke. I heard the last bass player joke I heard was a good one. Was okay. So a bass player walked by a bar. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
That
was where the Pat Fontaine laugh. Now going back to when you were a kid, what the stuff you were listening to, what really popped out as far as like kind of helping develop your style?
Well, like I said, we were just. I had an older brother who's 6 years older than me I'd always sneak in his room, and he had a bunch of weird double records: Uma Guma, Miles Davis, Live Evil, Live Cream, Frank Zappa, Mahavishnu Orchestra. Just really eclectic stuff. And like I said, my dad was always dragging me to different kind of shows. But man, Motown and we used to go to there was this great store in downtown Champaign where they had stacks and stacks of old 45s from the jukeboxes, and we would just go.
Oh, nice!
And we'd go there. But the three stories are. Of course, when I was 1974, and I'm a pudgy, red-haired geek, my hero in life was
Ginger Pride,
Danny Bonaducci, right? Because
that's right. I saw you post something, but you weren't joking. That was
yeah. He played bass, right? And he came up with me, and he was my hero. And one day, I heard a noise, and there was a rock band setting up on the tennis courts at Eisner Park by my house. And I drove over, and the bass player had a green Fender Jazz bass with a matching headstock, a white curly barbecue cord into a custom amp that has like the padding and the chrome portholes in it. And I'm like, oh my God, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I wanted to play bass. And of course, the great things, seriously, in the Midwest is how competitive like stage band is, jazz band.
Right. Absolutely.
So I mean, our high school had like 1, 2, and 3 jazz band. Junior high school had the A and the B band. And Champaign Central was the state champions every year. So I really learned to play bass playing upright and reading through jazz changes. And then the first time I played with a band, the first song we ever played was Riding the Storm Out by REO, baby! And then Whipping Post, which is, of course, an 11, which led me up for all the odd time nonsense I play with Vi and those Zappa clones. But then, truthfully, I was listening to that at an FM station at the U of I, which I can remember the call letters, and I heard Roundabout. And it gets real quiet, and then it comes back in with that organ solo, and that really cool bass line. So I literally got my little cigar box full of lawn mowing money, and took out a couple bucks, and drove my Stingray to Kmart and bought Fragile, and opened it up, and there was Chris Squire with his curly hair, wearing a cape, playing a Rickenbacker with a pick, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to be a bass player. That's it. I'm all in.
So are you a pick guy or are you a finger guy?
Man, I'm mostly a finger guy, but I'm pick. There's certainly a place for a pick. There's dudes that are wonderful pick players, and in certain styles of music, like speed metal, you just got to get the right phrasing.
Right. Well, I think Gene Simmons always said, he's like, how do you get your tone? I use a pick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
for certain music, certainly. I mean, I'm probably more leaning the jazz and progressive music than the usual genre or ilk of dudes you have on this show. But rock, there's certain songs where styles of music where you got to have it. And as a bass player who wants to work, man, you got to say, walk into the audition and say, can you sing? You bet I can. You use a pick? You bet I can.
Yep.
Can you dance and stand on your head? Fuck yeah.
Exactly. I mean, not everybody's looking for Donald Duck Dunn.
No.
Who was fucking amazing. It was funny because we were talking over lunch. I was listening to Best of Sam and Dave the last couple days. So, of course, I go right to the Blues Brothers right after that, listening to Duck. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because, the whole bass world changed in my lifetime. Like, when I grew up, that was how you played bass. Those are the cats. And then all of a sudden, here comes sort of John Entwistle and Chris Squire, who played a little bit more melodically, and there was Jack Bruce, right, but then all of a sudden, Larry Graham, I saw this guy playing with James Brown, and he was doing something to the bass where it sounded like a drum. So I drove to Nashville, New Hampshire, and took a bass off the wall and plucked the string. And the guy had me kicked out of the store. He thought I was trying to break his bass, right? Because back then, no one slapped on the bass.
Gotcha.
And then when I was playing with Steve Vai, we were doing like Eruption. There was the hammer-ons that led to. I didn't really invent tapping on the bass, but I was one of the first people to get there. But now they're saying that, I'm a bass player 15 or 16, he's got to slap, tap, play chords, harmonics, solo. No one played bass like that. Bass is 70 years old.
No, at what point did you do the Linus and Lucy thing?
That was one of the first, I still get good ideas, thank God, literally. I guess that's where they come from. But when I started, on November 8th, 1978, when I was going to Berkeley in Boston, I saw Weather Report and Jaco Pastorius came out. And I'd never thought of the bass as a solo instrument.
Right.
Because it's what holds everything together. Jaco changed that notion for everyone. So I tried to learn all this piano repertoire that I did on the bass. And to get more notes to come out, I said, okay, well, you can tap like hammer-on. You can play two things at one time. And then I love the Bill Menendez and Vince Guaraldi music. And I said, well, okay, since I'm working on these things, what if I could – the first thing I did was sort of play a rhythm, boom, 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 with my left hand and play a little melody on top. And I said, well, what if I could try to work out with playing in the other part? And I think since I played piano, I had the two-hand independence down.
There you go.
And the cool thing, like anything else you learn, like I remember thinking, man, if I could ever play that, I will have achieved it. And then I learned how to play it, and you realize it's just the tip of the iceberg that opens up a whole new, ways of expanding what the bass can do.
Now, you were at Berkeley. You were there with Billy Sheehan, correct?
No, I was there with Steve Vai.
Steve Vai. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I drive Lyft on the side, or I drive Lyft to try to eat, and this dude's like, "Yeah, dude, I was in Berkeley with Stu Hamm and Billy Sheehan, and then oh my God, the stories."
No, well, I don't know. Memory's funny, They had there was years and years ago. There was in Amsterdam, a plane hit an apartment building in its descent, right? And on the 20th anniversary, they asked a number of people, professors, and said, where were you, when you saw that on TV? And they go, oh, I was at my doctor's office. There was no film. People have convinced themselves that this memory. So no, Billy wasn't there. Steve, original bass player was Mr. Funk Me Tender Randy Coven.
Okay.
Right, and he was so intimidating. He was an incredible bass player. But I met Steve at a party when I first went to Berkeley, and we had a band called Morning Thunder with Dave Rosenthal on keyboards, who went on to he's been Billy Joel's musical director for years and and years. A guy named Eddie Rogers on drums. And then I played on Steve's audition tapes for Zappa, and he moved to California to become Zappa's transcriber, and I went on the road with an Elvis Presley impersonator with L. John. L. John, it was like 3 dance sets and 2 Elvis shows a night, 6 nights a week at the Holiday Inn in Morgantown, West Virginia. Height of the disco era. And, of course, but they always complained that you were too loud, and the second you'd end your set, and they would turn on the dance music, it would be twice as loud as the band.
Oh, of course. So. Who was Elvis's bass player in the 70s?
That guy.
Why can't I remember his name? Because he was a monster, too.
Yeah. Well, the whole band. I mean, the guitar player I've met a few times, James Burton.
I would love to interview him sometime.
So did that say Sturf Ham? What was that? Wait a minute.
No.
Come on, go back there.
Go back
there. Sturf Ham.
No. Oh, it's Stuff Ham.
Stuff Ham,
God
yeah.
Damn it.
Stuff Ham, baby.
I'll fix that after the show. Sorry about
stuffed
that.
Ham. I've been called baked ham and smoked ham back in high school, but stuff.
Oh, my God. Don't I feel like a fucking idiot?
Well, hey, this stops now, okay?
Oh, my God.
I'm
just trying to find Elvis. See, now this is going to bug me.
Elvis's bass player. I should know,
Elvis bass player 70s.
Well, great pictures of Elvis playing bass, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Jerry Sheff. Yeah.
Well, he's
still
played
alive.
with a lot of people. Yeah, Jerry Sheff is still a...
I
wonder if and Jason Sheff. He's the bass player with Chicago now, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah. And Dave Sheff is a drummer that played Teatro Zanzani with me. And in the punk... what was the name of that band? It's going to kill me now. New wave band out of San Francisco called Exactly. I can't remember. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave Sheff. Well, their big hit was boom, doom, 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 doom. I can't. I remember the bass line. As usual, I remember the bass line. Couldn't remember the name of the band or the song or any of the lyrics.
Of course.
That's
how it always goes.
But I know the bass line.
How good were you before you went to Berkeley? What did you learn at Berkeley?
Having played piano from a very young age and played flute, played oboe, played timpani and marching band, and just being around music my whole life, that I'd have to say the one I picked up the bass, I pretty much knew that pretty quickly that was going to be good. We went to Oak Lawn was the Illinois championships, and we went as a junior high school, just not to compete, but just to sort of get practice. And I'll tell you, after we played, a band director from another school, a black guy, came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I just wanted to tell you, you really got something special. You should never stop." And when you're a young kid and someone, especially when, it was so segregated back then, and I had pictures of Dr. J.
Was it Doug Pinnick?
and so I just knew that I was pretty good. And then in '76, when we won the state championship, I was named to the All-Star band. And funny thing was that when I moved to Vermont, then of course I was going to a 5,000 people school in the Midwest. I went to a small town, 60 people. So at that point, I was in high school playing with Dartmouth frat bands and doing gigs at ski resorts and top 40 bands and just gigging,
Right.
baby, gigging. So then Berkeley, the best thing about Berkeley is the people you meet there. You know, so I met Steve Vai, I met a lot of other people, Bruce Arnold, people I continue to play with to this day. And just exposed the people we meet from around the world. My roommate was a drummer from Germany. I ended up spending a summer living with him and playing with the German band and like that. So, I mean, back then Berkeley was so different. You could get an engineering degree on a 4-track. And it was so small then that it was sort of like if you made it through 4 years, it meant that you sucked as a player. And back then that was the only way to make a living. Now it's like impossible to make a living just being a player. Right. You better be an engineer and be a media analyst and disc jockey and social media expert and know Pro Tools and know Logic and Sibelius and
I plug a Les Paul into a beater and make it loud.
I like that.
And play A chords.
I like that. That's good.
It's like Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Well, no, that's it. That's what I say. What is strange is the next generation of bass players that has sort of started out with hearing me or Billy or Victor, and forget that there's people like Gene Kiss, like freaking Lee Sklar, that know how to play one or two notes and make them mean more than those million notes.
Gene's actually a lot better than that, though. If you listen to those first 3 Kiss records, Gene's a badass. He has a lot of running stuff because he came up on McCartney.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I think the last time I listened to the last 3 Kiss records was, never.
Yeah, exactly.
Never. But Paul McCartney, though, certainly, I mean, how subliminally did he influence us all? It's so melodic and creative. His bass lines were unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, because when Kiss started out, they wanted to be heavy metal Beatles.
Right.
So that's why Gene plays like he does. It was all because of McCartney. Did you ever get into the McCartney's dead conspiracy stuff?
I was so into that. I mean, like I said, my dad was sort of a hippie professor. We used to go to meetings. And there was
you're not kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. And there was one like if you rub Vaseline on the back, of Abbey Road. And my favorite was, if you take Abbey Road and turn it sideways, Paul's lying down like he's dead in a casket.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so into that, dude.
Yeah,
100%.
There's this documentary, and it's supposed to be quote unquote the deathbed tapes of George Harrison, and you could tell it's not George Harrison fucking talking about this because obviously it was his deathbed tapes,
right?
But they break everything down, like how there was the guy that was on the scene when McCartney supposedly died.
Right,
it was the guy that was orchestrating everything going forward, and they kept fucking with him by putting hints on the record covers and like on Sgt. Pepper. There's all these little things that this signifies this, and the walrus. This is actually Paul, not Fall, because they apparently called the new guy Fall.
Yeah, I went down an internet, a YouTube rabbit hole the other day about amazing pictures and most conspiracy theories, and they had a great one about the Beatles, and you can tell they subbed out the members because they were receding hairlines, and it was just so stupid, so ridiculous.
But it's so interesting.
Oh yeah,
you
why
just
not?
It's like it's like the Kennedy stuff. I get sucked into.
Well, I told you when we saw it was either Sly Stone or the Rolling Stones at the Assembly Hall in Champaign. They were came on hours late. Everyone said, they were at Paul's funeral. That's why they were late.
That Paul.
Oh,
see,
Paul
I didn't.
McCartney.
I guess I had never realized that this conspiracy has been around that long.
Oh, yeah. That was what 70. Yeah, I was when it was an active thing. I was so into it.
It's just weird, especially back then when there's no internet.
Yeah.
When it's just all word of mouth.
Unbelievable. Yeah, fanzines and stuff. I'm a comic collector. I used to get, mimeograph sheets of fanzines and stuff. Unbelievable. The Midwest. What a great place to be from.
Right? Yeah, it really toughens you up, especially in the wintertime. And now we don't have to worry about it because this is amazing. 85 degrees.
I can't beat it, can you? It's so lovely. It's so lovely.
It absolutely is. Do you think I love Billy's playing?
Yeah.
But to me personally, I think he goes overboard sometimes.
Well, he should.
Right.
He's Billy fucking Sheehan.
Right. Right.
We want him to go overboard. But man, he's. I mean, you probably haven't heard he was.
And this isn't like singling Billy out or whatever. This is more like you think bass players are overplaying?
Dude, I mean, in Billy's case, Billy can play bass, man. He was in a band called Niacin with a keyboard player and Dennis Chambers. He can lay it down. We want Billy to be over the top. We want Billy to sound like a swarm of angry bees and do his thing. But, you know, and everyone's got their own unique thing. But as I alluded to earlier, yes, I do think there is a problem of bass players coming out with all this flashy technique and putting it in when it's not required for the music.
Right.
Well, sometimes the footballs are what you need.
Right. I mean, and there's guitar players that do that too, you know.
What you said that G word.
Yeah.
You said the G
word.
Yeah, we got this far without it, I guess.
Sorry about it. Scotty wants to know, he's asked artists this, which way can I, as a fan, buy your music that financially benefits you more? Not sure what iTunes or the others do for you.
I think, since I reached my goal on Indiegogo, I think you can still order like signed CDs through Indiegogo. So that would be the best way to go. Indiegogo.com, Stu Hamm, and that money goes to the highest percentage of it goes to me. CD Baby. Again, with this record, it's a story about this journey I took. And every song is about something. So if you would suggest buying the hard copy because it's got an 8-page booklet that I spent extra dough, hiring it. So every song there's a story about what it's about, why I wrote it. There's a photograph about the place that I wrote it about. So I would definitely suggest getting the hard copy. And I'm sure there are listeners are old enough to even know what a hard copy is.
Most of my listeners are like around my age.
Yeah,
so yeah, they know they remember picking up a record and sitting down in front of the record player with the headphones. And
the best thing about that was like if I was really, double albums like Yes Songs or Uma Guma, you could always scrap up a bong hit in the spine. Do you know what I'm saying? And people now wouldn't even know. What we're
even
about.
A nice line.
Well, that was more when CDs first came out. But you'd get a double record, you'd clean your pot, and if you're really hard up, you could open it up and crush up the seeds and convince yourself that it's an actual bong hit.
Oh, there you go. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick little minute and a half break, and we'll be right back with more Stu Hamm and more of your questions. Yeah. It is another fucking podcast.
If you need to promote your band or business or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
All right, and we have returned. Also, please make sure you check out A&P Productions Laser Engraving Division. It is that time of year. It is Mother's Day coming up. Graduation season is coming up. You're going to need flasks for mom because, your moms are usually drunks, so you can buy them a flask and have it personalized with her name on it. It's something special. Just check out aplaser.com I mean, these guys are so good. They do my roadie packs, which I have one left, and you can get the very last roadie pack. I'll sign it for you. It comes with a flask, a Zippo type lighter, a dog tag, and a little clicky flashlight LED gimmick. They all have the Another Effin' Podcast logo on it, and for only $30, PayPal it to me, plus $5 shipping handling inside the continental United States of America. And I'll get that shipped out to you. And the PayPal is paypal.me/Izzy Presley. I have one left. And when these get done again, they are going to look different. So you're going to have the very last one of the first run. These are limited edition, folks.
Damn.
I know. Badass. Very cool. And also, please check out John Palumbo Design. John Palumbo, amazing guy who designs. You need a website designed, you need a band logo, merch designed, any of that kind of stuff. John Palumbo can do it. Hit up John Palumbo Design on the Facebook machine. I'm pretty sure he has a website, but he's never sent me the website.
What?
I tried johnpalumbodesign.com. Maybe that'll work. So check all of that out. Back with Stu Hamm.
Yes, sir.
Wait, did we have we got more? Oh shit, Jacobus is here. Jeff Jacobus is a man that used to work on all the cruises with me, and he's a very interesting fella.
Okay,
Great guy.
That was a pregnant pause. Hey man, what up?
Jeff Jacobus, good to see you. Thanks for
Jacobus.
checking in. He's probably in he's in Pensacola, I believe.
Pensacola, Redneck Riviera.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So Jacobus, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Now you played with Vince Neil.
Boy, that's one that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, because
that's one that's popped up. There's a couple rumors. One was that I did a thing with Cozy Powell. I have no idea where that came from. The other rumor was that I had the calluses from my toes taken off and put on my fingers. So that has to be like one of these.
You're not kidding. That was an actual rumor.
That was an actual rumor. I did everything I could to propagate that as well. I think the Vince Neil thing was probably one of those like tribute records.
Oh, okay, that would make sense. Let's see.
It's not like we hung out at the Whiskey at the Rainbow or anything.
But you did do some stuff with Tommy though, right? Tommy Lee.
Well, Tommy Lee played on my album The Urge, on the title track. The Urge is incredible, and but I did all those. Mike Varney and Bruce Kulick did all those. There's a tribute. The best one, dude, and they're all pretty good. But you get people, and sometimes it works, and everyone's recording in a different room.
Right.
But there is a version of Dream On with me on bass, Mr. Vinny Colaiuta on drums, Mr. Ronnie James Dio singing, and Mr. Yngwie Malmsteen on guitar. And It is killing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. Of all those, sometimes they're just people are like recording them at home and phoning them in.
Yeah.
No offense to all those records. But that track is fucking smoking.
Yeah. I forgot that you played on that. 'Cause I used to have the show that got me into radio on Rockin' 101 in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Rockin' 101, the rock station. Was a show that was called Under the Covers with Izzy Presley. It was an hour long once a week, and it was all covers. And that was one of the songs that made me want to do that show. Was that cover of Dream On?
It's great. I mean, like I said, a lot of those are okay. I did a Rush tribute record, and some of those so obviously it was one. I'd love to know because every now and then this Vince Neil thing comes up, and I let's find out now.
Let's find out. Okay, I got this thing up right here.
It has to be. Is it the Aerosmith tribute or?
Where in the hell did I see it on here? Because I saw it on here.
Just type in Vince Neil Stu Hamm and see what happens.
That would be way too easy.
Back in the 80s, we could have gotten drunk together at the Rainbow, and we just neither of us remember. Could have happened.
Just got to make sure I don't put in Stuff Ham.
Yeah, Stuff Ham, see.
Vince Neil, George Lynch, Stu Hamm, Greg Bissonette.
Wow, there you go.
Paranoid.
I guess somebody said, oh yeah, that's right. I remember now.
On a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne.
That Ozzy Osbourne record I played. Yeah, of course I remember it well. Who was it? Me, Matt.
You, Greg Bissonette.
Right.
George Lynch, and Vince Neil.
Well, I do remember, I believe, tracking it live with Greg Bissonette. I think I can convince myself that I remember that. I would assume that the other fine lads came in later to lend their things.
Now, did you, because we were talking earlier, like over launch, that you never listened to a lot of this stuff. You never listened to a lot of the hard rock stuff.
No. I mean, kind of, but I mean, I don't, not to sound like a, the elitist snob that I am.
Oh, right.
That I am. But I mean, when I remember, my friends had like Uriah Heep records and I listened to some Led Zeppelin and stuff, but I was listening to like Miles Davis and Weather Report and John Cage, and my best friend's dad wrote microtonal piano suites. So instead of 12 notes or 19 notes in an octave. And I like, yes. And then when I loved to rock and, playing REO Speedwagon tunes, but I played, jazz, upright bass. And, but no, like the heavy stuff, the real, I knew the hits, but it just didn't,
I can respect that.
And maybe it was because I don't know. I live, again, it's going to sound, like an, elitist snob. That I am. But maybe I used to just take records and try to learn them. And I love to be challenged, right? And I put those records on, and the bass lines would be okay. That's pretty easy, And not that they should not be anything, but they.
Well,
were.
let me ask this: what is hard for you? Because you're kind of at that level where it's like you're just fucking Stu Hamm.
Oh, it's hard for me is trying to make a living as a musician.
Yeah. I'm just talking playing.
Everything, man. It's just trying to play what's right for the music, And you get typecast. It's awful. I remember I was playing with Mick Fleetwood's blues band for about 3 days. We had great rehearsals, and then we're taking a break. And I just started like practicing playing one of my tunes, and like, oh wait a minute, that's that guy that plays fucking peanuts on the bass and plays with Satriani. He doesn't want a lot of money to play a pop gig, and I'm like, oh yeah.
That's when you have to look at him and go, hey, I'm Stu fucking Hamm, bitch. Pay me.
That's it. No, it's all good, man. I still I'm getting better. And I'm getting better as a band leader and a composer and a player, and I get a chance to play all different sorts of music. Same thing. Ferlazzo called me. It's like, man, we got to try to find a really interesting, cool bass that'll feature you. And I'm like, no, man, just give me a song to play. I just want to make the hang and groove and play the song. It doesn't have to be, the Stu show every time.
Just go. No, I want to do "Soothe Me" from Sam and Dave.
There you go.
It was funny. I put that on.
Green-eyed lady. That's it.
I put on. I was listening to that, and then fucking "Soothe Me" comes on, and I go straight to the Blues Brothers movie. We'll put the band back together, do a few gigs, $5,000, no problem. We'll have the Penguins tax money. Putting the band back together
and review.
Yeah, there you go. How did you get involved with Kotzen?
Oh man, I wonder if he'll let me tell this story. Well, so, this guy, Mike Varney, used to have Shrapnel Records. Mm-hmm. And he had I guess it was a guitar player, like Guitar Spotlight. So he found, quote, I'm doing the little air quotes, Yngwie and Greg Howe and, was Shredder,
Right. And just a side note, I mean, you're playing with Kotzen pre-Poison.
Oh, I'm telling you, I met Richie when the first time he ever made it out of Shoe Fly Pie, Amish, Pennsylvania territory, when he flew to Santa Rosa to do this record that originally was supposed to be Billy and Steve Smith.
Oh,
so
wow.
Steve Smith had a recording studio, and he did a lot of those records, with Billy Sheehan as sort of the house rhythm section for all those guitar players that Varney was signing. So more, Varney Shrapnel Records, and then he probably heard a demo of Richie, and so they flew me out there. And it was Richie's first time out there, and he was so young. We took him. It was free. He'd never been to a Japanese restaurant, and he ate it, and he got so sick because he was literally so fresh off the boat,
Right.
And it was so funny, and I remember he had all these really fast techniques, and the record was produced by Marty Friedman and Jason Becker.
Oh wow!
So they're in the studio, right? And so he has all these incredible guitar riffs, and I'm going like, well, how come it's C natural in this octave and C sharp in here? And they go, just play the part. So it's really hard stuff because Richie's, even back then, it's got chops out the yin yang.
Right.
And then these guitar chops. And so I'm trying to double this one part. I remember it was either Jason or the other guy in the set. He goes, hey, Stu, let's try it again. And could you play that unison line a little faster and cleaner? He said, because it sounds a little moth-eaten the way you're playing it. And I was like, fuck you. If I can play it faster and cleaner, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
We'd be working on the next fucking tune. So, but I kept in touch with Richie never through the years. In fact, we played up. We were both briefly up at the Bohemian Grove. So if you want to really go down a rabbit hole, Google the Bohemian Grove and see what comes up in there. But we have jammed there, and we played a lot of Lucky Strike, and just love the way that he's evolved. Not just a guitar player, but as a singer too. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. Bohemian Grove. Okay, here we go.
Illuminati, World Order,
Monterey, California.
Conspiracy theories.
Oh, Owl's Nest Camp.
Oh yeah.
Ronald Reagan, Harvey.
Illuminati.
Oh
Sacrifice.
shit! Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was a member.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you really can't talk about that.
No, I can't. I tell you, one night I was there, and I was playing on stage with on guitar with Steve Miller and Joe Satriani. Mickey Hart was on drums, and Booker T was playing organ. Arturo Sandoval was on sax, and in the front row of the crowd was Colin Powell sitting next to Clint Eastwood, who helped us tear down our gear at the end of the gig.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's the way we roll.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's all I can say.
That's all you can say. That's fine.
Illuminati, human sacrifice.
Yeah, it's all about the Illuminati. Who do you look back on over all these years that you've played with all these amazing people, and who do you look back on and go, I can't believe I got to fucking play with this person?
I remember specifically sitting in the dorm room at Berkeley on my little cot and getting back then. Bass Player magazine was an insert in Guitar magazine, and they had readers poll, and I wrote down best jazz bass player Stanley Clarke, best rock bass player Chris Squire, and then in the space of about 2 weeks, flash forward 30 years, for a couple of years, I was head of the bass department at Musicians Institute. And so in the space of a week, I got to pay Stanley Clarke to come give us a lecture for my students, and we become friends. I go over to Stanley's house, and I play his bass, and we hang out. And then I was chosen to write a speech to introduce Chris Squire into the Bass Player Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
And so if you had ever told me when I was 18 that not only would I know these guys, but in some sense be a contemporary or friend of theirs, I would have said, dude, that's all I could ever want in the whole world.
Was it ever in the anybody when Chris passed and they replaced him in Yes? Was your name ever brought up for that?
No. I don't know. Again, I'm typecast as this. I mean, the guy that got is Billy Sherwood, right? Was his tech, and he's playing his bass. And
that makes sense.
The perfect guy to do it. But no, I really don't know those camp. And obviously, you hire people you know.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but I've heard he's done a wonderful job. Though, honestly, I can't imagine Yes without Chris Squire. And I'm so honored now because I'm just a little boy, fanboy geek. And Chris Squire did a great solo record called The Fish. And they're re-releasing it as a box set with the remastered and videos, interviews, and they've asked me to review it for Bass Player magazine.
Oh, that's amazing!
I got an advanced copy of it. So I mean, it's ridiculous because I'm just a little kid from Champaign, Illinois, watching Chuck Akery Creature Feature, every Friday night, and riding my bicycle to Kmart to buy 45s. And then if you tell me that, I'm texting Stanley, hey man, what's up? How you been? And it's ridiculous.
I know, it's just unbelievable. I mean, fuck, I've been out here 4.5 years, and the shit that I've done is it boggles my mind. I mean, I still haven't met my hero Ace Frehley yet, but yeah, everybody I know has met Ace except for me.
So Ack, is it just like Ace with a K instead of an E?
No, Ack is Ace's only scripted line in Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Remember when they had that movie in the late 70s, that NBC movie?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got it on DVD and Laserdisc.
As well you should.
I got the Laserdisc. It's much better on the Laserdisc.
Imagine a live Hanna-Barbera cartoon. That's kind of what it is. It's so campy and so cheesy,
You
but
probably
awesome.
have a copy of the Star Wars Christmas special, though, in this room, don't you?
No, but when I go back next month, because the reason I'm going back is I'm driving back
to do these gigs. You're going to rock.
Driving back to rock, man. No, because Mom is going from 2 storage units to 1 storage unit, so I have to go get the shit that I want.
Well, I thought George Lucas personally confiscated all versions.
Oh no, I've got a VHS copy of it.
Of course you do. Why did I know that? Why did I know you were going to say?
I'm not like Ace Von Johnson from Pussycat, who has it on DVD. I have it on VHS.
Damn.
So I'm gonna go back and we're gonna get all my shit, all my records, because when I moved out here, it was in a Toyota Avalon.
Oh man.
And it was whatever I could fit.
But man, going way back, rock too. Another band that like when other people were listening to, like maybe a Black Sabbath or Deep Purple, I was a big Who fan.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I love John Entwistle's playing, and we drove and saw them live. I got to see them live with Keith Moon twice.
Oh wow.
And that was just so I guess always leaning towards the more progressive side of rock, and then and then that led me into like Stanley Clarke and Weather Report and fusion, right? Instrumental. Improvisational music,
I'm surprised that we haven't you haven't been on like the Cruise to the Edge.
Yeah, again, I know all those people that have done it, but I'm in a funny category. It's like they're sort of competing worlds, and when I get the real heavy metal dudes look at me in awe because like, dude, he knows the names of the strings. Whoa, and then the real prog guys, don't really think of Vai or Satriani as rock, and then the jazz guys that are really snobby don't think I'm a jazz guy because I play with some pop bands, and then the rock guys think I'm a little jazzy because I play with these guys. So everyone's got their pigeonhole where I've done everything from. I recorded if you dig deep, there's a duet of me and Joan Baez doing "Do Right Man" by Aretha Franklin.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and my first tour was with David and David. Welcome to the Boomtown.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing. David Bierwald and David Ricketts. That was my first pop tour.
Wow.
And I played with a band called I played with two Mexican pop bands, the Caifanes and Jaguares, that were the first like rock en español bands. I'm on two of their records. That's my best known track is called Alcohol. And I play fretless, and this is like the first Mexican rock band to make it big. Last year, I played with the top Argentinian rock band called La Berizo, and they flew me down. I played two tracks on the record, and they flew me down, and we played at River Plate Stadium in front of 80,000 people.
Jesus Christ.
And the song was, boom, 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 boom.
Of course.
I love it.
Of course.
There's no snobbery in me as thinking that's boring or simple or stupid or easy as compared to Billy Sheehan or Victor Wooten. That's
right.
That's a stupid attitude that I don't share at all. Right. It's whatever makes the song work. And dudes, I mean, when you hear a guy like Rudy Sarzo and Vinny
Rudy.
play those stuff, I never, that's the real friggin' deal.
Right.
I love Rudy. When you want to hear him slap or tap or play
right.
solo bass, I mean, when you hear him play that stuff, it's like he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan.
And he's such a nice guy.
Now he's an asshole. That's all a poem. It really is. That whole nice guy Christian thing. It's just. Love you, Rudy.
We love you, Rudy.
He is such a wonderful guy. Man.
Oh, he is. Is there any bass players that you look at and go, fuck, I can't touch that?
No, I mean, I used to. I don't think the bass players are competitive people. Like I go to these bass camps around the world, and then really there's only one or two people who we all know who we're talking about that are kind of assholes that don't get invited. But in general, I think people that play bass are cool and they're not competitive. And you have these bass camps, and if you get like, inevitably it'll be like 5 bass players on stage. Okay, let's play Red Baron or Stratus. I mean, we'd actually say, okay, let's work out parts to play together. If you got that many drummers or guitar players in the room, it would just be a pissing contest.
Oh yeah.
But bass players, with a few exceptions, really just aren't happy to share information, share gigs, and just don't have that. I did a clinic once in Leeds, at a music school in Leeds, England, and the same guy asked me like 3 of the stupidest questions in a row. First he says, who plays bass on Seinfeld? And I'm like, well, that's a sample, a keyboard sample of a funky bass. Okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Bass. That's a keyboard. Yeah, that's not an actual bass player. All right.
Shit.
Question 2 was, if you and Mark King had a bass war, who would win? And I'm like, dude, I can hear drum battles or guitar wars, but bass players just don't do that shit. And then I was talking about, how I try to express myself in music. And he goes, how do you express your anger in your music? And I thought about it, and I realized I'd never tried to write an angry song, and that made me happy.
Wow.
3, same guy.
Deep
3
thoughts.
worst questions, deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts with Stuff Ham.
Stuff Ham.
Stuff Ham.
This is like the most un-rock and roll podcast you've ever had. I'm so sorry.
No, dude, this is fucking great. I love it, man. I love these stories. I just want to make sure there's nothing else I have to fucking cover here because we are rolling in on it.
Well, I'll tell you there's the Michael Schenker stories too.
Oh yes,
I did the Michael Schenker story.
That's right.
I get that one a lot from the rock crowd, and that was great because that was another Mike Varney record, and he wanted me to go up to the studio what's it called exactly in Katati, and like live there for like 4 days and write the songs. So I'm like, no. So they got another bass player, and to do the songs. Then I came up and I did all my tracks in one day. But I got Varney to pay me an extra $100 to hang out and take pictures of like us in the studio pretending like we're playing.
And did you have like changes of clothes and all this shit to make it look like it was over a few days? Wow.
But what was great is that was the first time I got to play with Jeremy Colson, who's Vi's drummer, and he's great.
Oh, okay.
And we've done some stuff from that, so it was wonderful. But never actually toured with Michael. We did a memorable German G3 with Satriani, Uli John Roth, and Michael Schenker, and that was just mayhem.
How did you get involved with Schenker?
Again, I think that was just Mike Varney, who that was for with his label, and I'm in his list of people to call, and either he wanted me or no one else was available.
Right? Oh, my God. Also, let's see, The Working Man, A Tribute to Rush, Yngwie, the Deal thing is on
That's
there.
really good. Everyone should go to YouTube right now and do the Dream On.
I'm not going to lie.
Ronnie James Dio just sings his ass off. And the great thing about that is that you can tell that Yngwie just played nonstop the whole thing, but they actually mute him every 4 bars.
Really?
So it sounds like he's listening and calling and answering.
Really? I'll have to go back and listen to that again.
Because you can tell the parts when he's not playing. In the studio, he's actually playing.
So
but in the mix, they actually made it sing that he's like listening to the other people and interacting with them, which I don't think is really what Yngwie's all about, right?
No. Yngwie's all about Yngwie and driving his Ferrari and playing. Really
bless his heart. I mean, Yngwie should be Yngwie.
Oh yeah, I mean,
absolutely. There's
a cockiness that comes with being a fucking guitar player.
I was listening to we just the one tour I was in with a great young guitar player named Randy McStein, and they're totally, and Jeff Bowders, and those guys are totally into all that era music, and were just making fun of me because I'd never heard it. So they were playing me some Rising Force song about you're a loser and you don't even know it. And I was like, that's so awesome.
I don't even know that song. I know
it's I think I'm a Viking, but that's one of the lines is you're a loser and you don't even know it.
Oh my God!
And then we the whole tour was Shotgun Eddie by come on, what's the band?
Shotgun Eddie.
Oh, with a 45-second vocal intro by it's Michelangelo Badio and Bobby Rock.
Oh,
and
Lita
Ford's husband.
Yeah.
I would say the worst band ever, but I know Bobby and he's a good friend. So
and I know Michelangelo.
And they just did a reunion record.
Yeah,
with Victor Wooten on bass.
Right?
Yeah, right. Come on, what's Shotgun Eddie?
Fucking A.
I made some great ringtones before Apple changed iTunes and made it really ridiculously hard to make your own ringtones.
I know, you can't.
No, you can't. I figured it out.
It sucks.
Yes, you can. I can tell you later.
Oh, okay.
There's an extra step.
Shotgun Eddie Ultimate Whitewater Trip. Okay, that's not it.
What's the name of the band?
Did you mean Shotgun? Shotgun. Yeah, let's try it like that. No.
Raft Rental for Stu Hamm. What?
Shotgun Eddie.
I think it's EDDIE.
EDD. If I can spell.
Here's a little lull in the broadcast right here.
Angelo.
Yeah, and it is
Nitro.
Thank you.
There you go.
Nitro.
There you go. I'm just not that versed in Nitro. What can I say?
Oh man, it's classic.
I like
classic riff rock.
I like keeping it simple.
Yeah.
I like Guns N' Roses and I like Faster Pussycat and I like LA Guns, and Kiss.
Kiss, man. I had that back in the day. Like we were talking about Beth and I was on a rock and roll and party all day. I was all about that. I echoed that sentiment when I was a junior and senior in high school. So, but there you go. You should give me a Kiss education.
I would love to. We'll have you over sometime, and we'll watch it on the wall.
I don't think people listening could even imagine what a man cave this is. I would say this is the mammoth caverns of man cave.
It is.
It really is.
It absolutely.
And I was going to say there's really not a feminine presence here until I saw the Betty Page pictures in the bathroom.
Yes.
So that I take that all back. Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh. All right.
Hey Charlotte, I'm live on the radio. Can I call you back? Okay, say hi to the crowd.
You got to put her on speaker there, Stu.
Oh, let me put her on speaker. Say hi to everyone on the podcast, Shar. What's up? There you go.
Hey,
Okay.
what's up?
What's up? Okay, I'll call you later. Okay, bye. Love you. Bye.
All right,
Did you like the Mothra ringtone?
Oh yeah, mine's Morris Day and the Time.
Oh, okay. Well, you cover for me while I pull up some of my Nitro ringtones.
All right, he's going to pull that up, and I am going to tell you to make sure you do check out all the social media. Izzy Presley 1 on Facebook, another effing podcast on Facebook, and the Twitter machine at Real Izzy Presley.
Come on, that's badass.
That is cool. My Michelangelo story after this.
All right, let's hear the Michelangelo.
So we're on Monsters of Rock cruise, and it was right.
Oh, you're the guy to get me on those cruises. That's your job.
Yeah.
Get me on a cruise to the edge. Okay.
Dude, that's simple. I just got to talk to Powers That Be when he gets back to town. I will.
Yeah.
So it was right after Lemmy and then Bowie died. And the cruise was like 3 weeks after Bowie died. So it was like Lemmy died, and a couple weeks later Bowie died, and then Glenn Frey died. I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom.
It always happens in threes.
It really does.
For my dad, it was Steve Jobs, Al Davis, and then my dad.
Wow.
I know. Anyway, now we're all bummed out. Continue your funny story.
It's not really that funny of a story, but it was just like, a total guitar player thing. So they had me put together what I called the Motor Bowie Jam. First half was Bowie, second half was Motorhead. And we're doing the Bowie thing, and I had talked to Michael, or I'd been put in touch with Michael about doing a song during the Motor Bowie Jam, or during the Bowie set, and I had taken him off one and put him on a different one, but he must have thought he was still on this one because I had two other guitar players. But we were set up for three guitar players. I'm like, you're not on this one. He's like, no, you said I play. It's like, all right, cool. Oh, we're running, and it was cool because they did 3 solos. It was fucking amazing.
Oh, man. Well, amazing or, yeah, okay.
No, it was good.
Or Guitar-mageddon.
It was cool. It was cool. But also what happened during that jam is we had a not-so-sober Sebastian Bach meltdown, and it was awesome.
Oh, wow. Well, so I think I'm trying to think of stories that would appeal to your people. And I remember there was one, we did a swarthy metal festival in Belgium. When I was playing with Satriani, for some reason it was Halloween, and then us, and then Motorhead, and then Iron Maiden. So we sort of shared a dressing room next to Motorhead. And again, I respect Lemmy, but I've never really heard it.
Right.
I mean, it's just nothing. But the drummer had just broken his leg, so he had his kick drum leg in a cast. So every time he hit the bass drum, the beat would bounce back and he was like, ah! And they seemed to be a little inebriated backstage before the show.
No.
But they had a pachinko machine. Maybe it was Lemmy's thing when he said there was, an actual pachinko machine backstage. And then I met Steve briefly, and he was super kind. He let me wear his bass, and it was the heaviest bass that I've ever worn in my life, and that sound of his that he has, I know enough, that clacky thing he does. It's just awesome. But that bass of his with a giant strap and leather and brass, everything, a fucking thing weighed a ton.
Well, I mean, it's like Les Paul's back in the day. They're literally fucking a ton.
Yeah.
But there was a tone about it,
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just about that fucking wood.
Prairie Sun Studios in Katati. That's it. Owned by Muka Rennick is where all those Varney records were done.
See, you said you never really paid attention to Motorhead or whatever. I mean, so you've never paid attention to Lemmy as a bass player?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, no, that's fine. I as a bass player, it would have been cool to get your take on Lemmy as a bass player.
I remember sitting on the side of the stage, and what I liked about it was at one point during the show, he said, now's the time where someone needs to show Motorhead some tits. And then, and when he changed basses, he didn't bother like hitting a mute switch. He just kind of pulled the plug on and went, and someone handed him a new bass, and he plugged it in and went,
because it was so fucking loud anyways that it didn't matter.
Yeah. So
I remember the first time I saw him, and I only saw Motorhead like twice, and I had never been really exposed, Then finally they came to Minneapolis, and we went to see him at First Avenue, and I remember it was loud as fuck. Yeah. I mean, it was loud, and 3 songs in, Lemmy goes up to the mic, he's like, "We are Motorhead, and we play rock and roll. It's loud, yes? Well, let's make it louder," and they fucking turned it up. It's the first show that I I went up and I grabbed fucking
Earplugs.
Not even earplugs. It was just napkins.
Oh wow!
You know,
we did a show with Satriani opening up for AC/DC, and we knew some of the guys from the crew, and so we're on the side of the stage, and we're getting ready there to watch, and the guy's like, "Dudes, you actually don't want to be on stage because their monitors are louder than the PA." So he says you don't want to be on stage when the pyro goes off. Because if you're not even if you're on the right place, you could probably die.
Wow.
So we went out to the soundboard, and at one point, Angus turned, and you could hear his monitors squealing over the fucking PA in a soccer stadium in Portugal.
Holy shit!
It was runaway and hide your balls loud.
Wow. Did you ever go underneath the stage?
Not that stage.
Did you hear about the AC/DC underneath the stage stories?
No.
Well, we'll talk about those off the air.
Wow. No, I know a lot of stories. I mean, who's playing, who's not, kind of stories as well. But,
and you don't want to go down that road.
No.
I mean, we can talk about that off the air, but
no, it was great, man. It was what a great experience, man. And just seeing the way that they worked the crowd, and it was super fun. I remember we were playing with Satriani at Alpine Valley, right, which is sort of up in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And we went on, and then that's where I met Tommy Lee. I convinced him to play my record. And so they were playing after us, and they just had like some top billion selling girls video, whatever. And so they put me and Joe and Jonathan Mover in folding chairs right in front, between the front row and the stage. And we're sitting there looking at them. And about 3 songs in, the tour manager goes, "Hey man, you guys got to move. You're making the guys in the band nervous." So they kicked us out.
Well, I mean, Crew has been notorious, and they don't hide it. I mean, that was a band that used a lot of tracks.
Well,
they're playing.
Oh, they were great though. I mean, that's
Fuck
why
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm by no means a snob. I convinced Tommy to play because he's got a thing, man. His freaking kick and snare.
Oh yeah, he's got a pocket.
Unbelievable pocket. Unbelievable. It's great, and he was sort of fun for him to step out of his thing and. It's so embarrassing because I sing on that record. It's called The Urge. I sing on it, but he starts it, and then I have another song called "If You're Scared, Stay Home" that has a rap section. I've got Tommy Lee.
So Tommy's doing the rap.
No, but Tommy sampled going, "Dude, if you're scared, stay home." That we sampled and put in throughout the song. So it was just great. What a great experience.
Wait a minute. So you were doing the rap?
No. It was the second engineer, Sean. He did the rap about "If You're Scared, Stay Home." That was classic, man. That was why. Can we say Cocaine Decision on the air?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it could have been a little of that.
Whoops.
The best part about that though was a good friend of mine, David Counter, who's since passed, was the A&R guy for Relativity Records. And when they heard that I was singing, because it was like Joe comes out with Full Moon, because you sell a few records, just figure you sing, we'll sell more records. We want more money, we want bigger houses, we want more, and we want it now. So I said, that's it, yeah, I'll sing, and so that they were really nervous. So the guy, David Counter, was sort of like sent on a mission, to go to the studio to see how things are going on, to report back to Barry Corbin, the president of, because they gave me like a real budget for that record, like $60,000.
Holy shit.
That was unheard of, right? And we recorded it at Rumbo Studios, which is Captain and Tennille's studio. And I bumped into Ringo there.
Really?
Yeah. And then that's another story, bumping into Ringo.
Yeah, I want to hear about meeting Ringo Starr.
And someone told me that he walked in. I guess he was he and Tom Petty walked by, and someone told me the story with Ringo was the way he uses it, because back in the day, someone would say to the Beatles, "Hey, we got this new drug, you want to check it out?" And they give it to Ringo first. And if he didn't die, if he didn't die,
give it to the drummer.
If he didn't die in 3 hours, they'd take it too. But we were somewhere about me singing at Captain and Tennille's studio. Who knows what the original thread
I don't know.
was.
You got me locked in at Ringo. I want to know about you meeting Ringo.
Well, that was it. That
was it. You didn't really have a
smelled really good. He had a little entourage.
Of course he did.
He came by and it was like, wow. I mean,
you ever notice really rich people? They always smell amazing.
Yeah, and they speak very quietly because I know you have to shut up and listen.
I like that. So that's the trick.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop being the outgoing, loud guy. Stop trying to be David Lee Roth. Be Ringo Starr and just be quiet.
But what can I say? I'm probably the only person that had people who've walked out during my bass solo were George Burns and David Gilmour. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
I don't think anyone else can claim that in the history of the universe.
Wow, that's that. I mean, I've walked out during bass solos before, but usually to take a leak.
You know, I actually, it might have been the George Burns I was playing at a casino gig in Atlantic City, and I had a couple of vocal songs. I sang "Blinded by Science" and "Far From Over" by Sly Stallone.
Wow.
By, what's his name? Whoever Stallone, Frank Stallone.
Frank Stallone.
Yeah, those were that and Sonny were the Stu Hamm vocal top 40 repertoire.
That's awesome. When's the last time you played stand up?
I've got a semi acoustic electric Framus Warwick Triumph that I play all the time. I mean, I just got back a week ago, yesterday, from 2 months of the most ridiculous touring I've ever done. But I don't have the room for an upright. But I've been working on it, man. I'm getting better. I got my iReal book, and I could up until about the second position I can play in tune. And it's great for the hands.
Nice.
And I love it, and I'm working on it.
Well, you know, if you ever want to do some Elvis 68 black leather stuff.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah, I did. Lee Rocker was at one of these, the London Bass Show a couple of years ago. So love that. And obviously that's a good buddy of mine is David Patrick Moore plays at the LA Phil. And he's also a jazz guy. And there really are now some guys that are really can play pop music, jazz music, and classical music, you know. But so I go to the Phil quite often because Disney Hall is just a great place to hear music.
I've never been.
And, oh man, you got to go, seriously. And but it was Casual Friday, so the orchestra's playing in like short sleeves, and he's fully tatted up, man. And I've never seen a symphony orchestra.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, playing Beethoven with bass player with full sleeves.
It's fucking unbelievable. Stu Hamm, people want to reach you, social media.
That's it, man. Facebook, Stu Hamm Bass, I believe it is. Just type me in, StuHamm.net. If you really, Stuart Hamm Bass at Gmail. I do Skype bass lessons. I do all that kind of stuff. I've got a series of instructional videos. Big thing is the new record, The Diary of Patrick Xavier. It's the most non-metal record you could ever think of, except for track 9. Is a little out there. The Ballad of Billy Pilgrim.
You know what I'm going to do is I'll post this interview up on the Cruise to the Edge page with the prog guys. The prog guys, I think, would really.
I would love to do it. Like I said, I know Alex Skolnick and I are doing a record. And he's played in my band for a long time. He and his trio done Cruise to the Edge. And Randy McStein, who did my last tour, is a great guitar player in a band called The Fringe, does the Cruise to the Edge all the time. And also Leo Pavkovich, who was Alan Holdsworth's agent, who's booking me now. Those guys have all done it. I would love to do it. Please get me on the Cruise to the Edge. I want to go. I want to go.
I know people. I'm somebody who knows somebody. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. So what else? For all you New Yorkers, July 11th and 12th, the Stu Hamm Band featuring Alex Skolnick from Testament on guitar will be at the Iridium in New York. I believe June 29th, I'm going to be doing a bass clinic at the music store in Tampa, Florida. Incredible music store there, whose name just sadly escapes me.
Is this the one that I got you in touch with?
Are you the guy?
Yeah, John Palumbo.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. What's the name of the store?
Replay. Yeah.
They do it right. T-shirts and...
Yeah, they take care of you.
Oh, that's going to be great. Thank you, dude.
Yeah. Because I was with John Palumbo. I'm like, do you want Stu Hamm? He's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. We're doing that. And then...
You got that actually happened. Good.
Man, I owe you percentage. That's it. Next time, guess is on me.
I think it's Replay Guitar Exchange or Replay.
These guys are great.
Yeah,
man. They look like they put on a great show.
Yeah, they take care of people. I know they had George Lynch in it. Lynch is like, I've never had this experience doing one of these clinics before.
That's going to be great. It's going to be great. So yeah, and then a bunch of new stuff. Alex Skolnick and I are doing a record together, and blah 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 blah. Do what I do. Play bass.
Yeah, very well. Okay, let me hit my outro music, which is Black Diamond by Kiss live. Make sure you do hit up all the social media, which I already talked about. If you want to send money to the show, it is paypal.me/Izzy Presley. And anybody that sends any of that money, of course, I will send you my voice giving you Waze. I will be your Waze directions guy. Wednesday night, Lucky Strike Live. Sound check live, no cover.
Stu Hamm will be there.
Stu Hamm will be there playing. The next night, a tribute to Ace Frehley at Lucky Strike. Then we got
after you go to the Infinity Wars.
Yes, after you go to Infinity Wars, and then May 18th and 19th, I am up in the home state, the beautiful land of Hoth, Minnesota. May 18th at Stoney's in Rockville with a tribute to Ace Frehley, and 19th at the Doghouse in Maplewood. And then I have to drive back, but I'm going to stop and make some hipster listen to Kiss Alive 1 and get them hooked. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We got to do that to you, too. Hey, dude, Stu, thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure. See you guys next week. Like I said, shows are sporadic. Working on Bisto Blanco, Chuck Garrick, and Calico Cooper. Next Monday will be Creighton Emmerich in studio from Orgy. And Vinny Tortorich on May 7th. I will see you next Monday night. I do love you all. Kindly go fuck yourselves.